Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Living Astrology with Janet Hickox. Grab your cup of coffee or your tea, sit back, and let's chat about what is happening up in the stars above today, September 3rd. It's Thursday, which means we're going to do some oracle card readings today. And hopefully, I have Asa out there with me so she can help find out who wants a reading and tell her what deck of cards you would like. Of course, I have animals, I have wisdom of the oracle, I have dragons, galactic heritage, angel, messages of love, messages of light, dog pack. I have all kinds of different decks, so you can tell her that at some point here. But let's dive in. We have quite a bit to talk about before we get to that particular point. It just so happens, right, that that's the kind of day we're in, a busy day. Today, first of all, raise your hand if you were up half the night last night. If your mind was racing and you couldn't shut it off, if you tapped into anger or upset or anxiety or tension, raise your hand because that was me last night. And it was funny. I went to bed, I fell right to sleep, woke up right away, like maybe 5 minutes later. And from there, I just felt this building anger. And I couldn't even tell you I wasn't angry. I mean, my mind was moving. I was replaying conversations from the day. I was somehow I had just tapped in and I could feel it in my body. The bottoms of my feet literally burning and feeling that energy pulling up and into my solar plexus and into my stomach and heart center. And I'm like, ugh, what is all of this? I got up thinking I was going to just get up because I wasn't sleeping anyway. And then I didn't want to be up. So I went back to bed and laid down and still felt this for the longest time, finally fell asleep. Then I woke up at 4:44 this morning to a light that's beaming in my room from the kitchen over on the other side of the house. And I'm like, what is that light? I thought it was the moon having moved from one window to another, but it wasn't. It was the coffee maker had gone on for whatever reason, and the light from that was shining in. It was the most strange night, right? I went to bed again at that point in time, didn't fall asleep until maybe 5 minutes to 6 before I got up. So I was like on a search this morning for what is that? The moon is bright, yes, but I mean, it wasn't really something that was annoying me. There's something about the light of the moon that really isn't as harsh as, say, a neighbor's outside light or something that's on that shines into your room. It's different. It feels different. So it wasn't the light. And then I'm laying there counting down in my head all of the different astrological things that could be happening. Like likely the moon is at 28 degrees or so of Pisces, which would put it in a square to my 28-degree Gemini sun. And that would be tension. Oh, yeah, that could be tension, but not the kind of tension that I'm feeling. That wouldn't be anger. That would be maybe some kind of creative tension. And then I'm going on and I couldn't really figure it out. There was no excuse, right? There was just no excuse until this morning. Again, I was sitting here preparing for the day, and I realized, oh my gosh, the Human Design Week has shifted. And that would have happened at sunset last night, which is about 8 p.m. here in Pacific Northwest right now. And so, of course, I would have maybe gotten into what becomes mental anxiety for us for the next several days. So, we're going to want to talk more about that. As well, this morning, the moon is now in the void. It began at 7:35 a.m. my time, so 10:35 for those of you on the East Coast. The void means the moon is not making any other new contacts with any planets or points or changing signs until it's done with the void, and the void will end at 1:23 p.m. my time today. So for 4:23 for those of you, hey, that's J Lo's birthday, and that's Debbie Tibbetts Tumiel's birthday too. So at 4:23 this afternoon for those of you on the East Coast, it will end with the moon moving into the sign of Aries. So maybe I'm even feeling a little bit about that coming. It's kind of just a weird, that's going to be a very busy, make for a very busy weekend for us, likely filled with some things that we have to work through. So I want to talk about what is the Aries moon going to be bringing to us? What does it mean for the moon to be in Aries? We also have two major aspects, one in effect today and one building for tomorrow that I want to talk about, Mercury trine Saturn being one of them. and the other one being Venus in a square to Mars. And that's got a lot of different things that are building up and adding to the tension. Then I want to talk about our Pleiadian-Earth day. Today is 9 exploring, and then about the Human Design Week. So let me just say a quick good morning to people who are popping in over here. Hello to, oh wow, a whole list of people. J-Lo, good morning. Julia, Reteji, good morning. It's good to see you. And you must be new. I don't think I've seen you out here before. So welcome to Living Astrology. It's great to have you. Amanda Jeffs, good morning. J-Lo says, hello, Astro fam. Amy, good morning. Andy, hello. And Amanda Jeff says, I'd love a galactic, please. Asa, if you're out there, please start keeping track for me, because there's no way that I'm going to put that. Who was that? That was Amanda J. So I do have Amanda J, but I'm not taking any more. I will let Asa do that for me. Andy Girl, hello. I think I said hello. Jennifer Peachy, good morning. Yes, I was up so much. Oh, so I wasn't the only one. I noticed, I think Asa this morning told me that her husband was also having a restless night. So he's a Gemini as well. So I thought maybe it was just Gemini energy somehow, but it might have been something more as well. Pauline, hello. She says, found you. I wasn't hiding, I swear. Camilla, good morning. And J-Lo, but I was searching on Ancestry, a great rabbit hole I enjoy now. I love that rabbit hole too. Amanda J, that was for me 2 days, better now. And J-Lo, hello. Asa, oh, so Asa, you are out there. Love it. Puffing Pixie would love a galactic reading. Okay, I'm going to let Asa handle that. Courtney, good morning. I got the same angel cards. I love them. Awesome. Deborah Johnson, good morning, everyone. She says, yay, I'm here. We're glad to have you. Andy Girl, I would like to have a card today. Okay, Asa, go ahead for that one too. Pauline, Rueda, good morning. Moon signs, Tati, I believe, good morning to you. And hello, Debbie Tibbetts Tumiel, and on. People are checking in with that. So Pauline says, like void now, like a break. Loving Light, hello, everyone. Awesome Thursday. It's always best to catch you. I think Loving Light, is that you, Andy, in Canada? Allison D, good morning to you. J-Lo could be my ascendant is Gemini. Ursula, good morning to you. So we have a list of people building up, and while you are building that list, I am going to go through the what the moon is doing today. So I already told you the moon is now in the void. That means it's a time for us to slow things down, right? In the void, the moon is sort of wandering. She's not really got a purpose or a focus yet, right? She's not really like, oh yes, I'm moving on. She's like maybe picking up stitches, if you know what that means. Like if you've been sewing and you've lost a couple stitches, you pick them up. And so in this case, she is picking up stitches in the final degrees of Pisces. So grounding in everything that we've been through with the full moon and with the various transits that she's and connections she's made during her transit through the sign of Pisces. The last aspect that the moon made before she went into the void, and that would have been at 7:35 a.m. my time this morning, was a trine to Venus. Yay, right? Leave us with a trine to Venus. Better than some of those Mars, Saturn, and Pluto transits that we've been left with in the void. So we have a lighter, airier energy, a lighter hearted energy, more compassionate and loving, mothering even energy that was left for the void. And then we will get to that change of the moon's sign in this afternoon for all of us later this afternoon, where she moves into the sign of Aries. And Aries, of course, a very masculine sign, the moon very feminine. It's interesting because in that same time period is the Venus square Mars energy, the masculine and the feminine, the square being kind of a scritchy or irritation, tension sort of aspect. But that's feeding in with that Mars, with the Mars energy of the moon as well. We have other things this weekend that are going to play into this Aries moon. So highly energetic. So take note of where Aries is in your chart. This is where there'll be a lot of focus of your life energy for the next several days, next few days. And the Aries new moon or Aries moon rules new beginnings, right? The ability to go into new territory. So to maybe cross a boundary of sorts and start something new, to even risk initiating something or taking action on something. Maybe you've been holding back, as likely we've had to because of the Neptune Pisces energies that have been prevalent over the last couple of days. So now we're feeling a little bit more like the gears are working and we want to move forward. Now, the energy of Aries rules everything to do with the self, the physical body, our survival issues, our instincts, and our assertiveness. What I kind of want you to recognize here is that there are some crossover energies that you should be picking up on here, because we've talked about these same kind of things, courage, stamina, and so forth, when we're talking about some of the other earth or the other fire energies. So Leo and Sagittarius. So when we've talked about the moon in those two signs recently, we've been talking about the same thing, survival issues, instincts, assertiveness, but each applied in a different way. We are also talking about the innocence, if you will, of just youthful energy. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday as I was doing her transit reading and her progressions, and we were talking about how there seems to be a lot of youthful souls on the planet right now, and they're the youthful souls might be the ones that tap into some of the more aggressive or assertive energies, or the energies of division, and not because they're bad or anything like that. I'm not saying this in a judgment sort of way, but they're new here and they're tapping into all the juiciness of the world, and likely having to mature quite quickly through this particular time period that we're in. As you know, all of our skills for peace and quiet and calm are being called up right now, right? It's like a phone call from God. Hello, you're going to need peace and patience, and you're going to have to really be, solid in who you are and grounded, because this energy is so powerful, right? It can overtake us. But at the same time, it gives us an aspect of innocence in our youthfulness, in our learning new things, in our honest, straightforward connection to things. And also that in that youthfulness is that impulsivity. So we're having, and there's, impulse is not always a good thing, right? It can put us in the path of trouble. It can mean we're inserting foot into mouth as we say things that, without thinking, without filters. So we have to watch for that. But as the more mature souls on the planet at the moment, we have to understand that there's this other process that's going on with newer souls, younger people even, that are still in that maturing process. So being authentic, being you, helping where you can, helping the planet in general by watching where your own impulses are, can be very helpful at this point. The moon in Aries also brings us to all the words that you could pretty much put self in front of: self-discovery, self-direction, self-reliance, self-sufficiency. All of these are things that we've been talking about because of Mars in Aries, because of Chiron in Aries, the Black Moon in Aries, and Eris in Aries. So again, we see this bigger picture going on. And are you also noticing that some of the same words that I'm using for the moon in Aries have something to do with what we've been talking about with the first house in your astrology chart? So you're seeing that there's these connections between these things, right? Aries, as the first sign of the zodiac, is the sign that rules naturally the first house of the chart. And unless you're born with an Aries rising, it's not yours technically, but it still influences that first house, right? The I am energy. Aries is that I am energy, and it pushes itself out into the world in a very youthful way, sometimes in a way that seems immature even, but that's the whole point, right? We don't gain maturity unless we go out in the world and we experience. So there we have that. This is exploration time and a bit of a risk-taking time. I always want to qualify that by saying take calculated risks, not just all in daredevil type of risks, calculated risks, right? This is about our warrior nature. So that warrior part of us, courage, leadership, strength, and boldness. Those are the positive signs, positive words we can put to a warrior nature. There's also the more negative signs that are confrontational and in conflict and warring and not peaceful. Then we have to watch out for some things that, that spectrum of energy that we have in any of the signs, right? From the highest expression to the middle, the neutral, and then on to the more negative expressions. So we need to watch out for things like self-absorption. That's one of the selves we don't want. We want self-sufficiency, self-reliance, and self-knowledge and self-direction, all of that, right? But self-absorption means you're leaving out or not counting on other people or factoring them into your consideration. So selfishness, another part of this. Selfishness is also something that pops up where? Leo, a fellow fire sign, right? So the negative side of some of the fire energies can be about vanity, selfishness, impatience in this case is also at play, anger also at play. Now, there are some places in the body that we need to watch out for. And I can tell you, you guys really, really want to watch this one. First of all, I have burned my finger on a pan. I cut the tip of my thumb yesterday. You can't hardly see that. And it's so little, but it hurts, right? Because it's a finger. And so right now that Mars energy really hot. So we're watching for the things that we do with knives, and we're in cars that are metal. Mars rules metal. Aries is ruled by Mars. So we have this energy popping up here as well. So burns and cuts and all those kind of things, just being watchful. I'm not saying that you have to, that will happen to you, but those are the things that we're watching for on one hand. On the other hand, in the body, Aries rules acne, so skin breakouts, our eyes, right? So if you're having trouble with your eyes, the head, the face, the scalp, and the brain ruled by Aries. And headaches and dizziness also a part of the experience when we have Aries energy prominent, and we do, right? We have lots of energy in Aries because of Mars and Chiron and Black Moon Lilith and Eris, and now the moon. And the moon likely triggering all those planets over the course of the next couple of days, and as well squaring our Capricorn bunch, right? Pallas Athena, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. So we have all of these planets activated. Is it any wonder we're feeding into the anxiety? Is it any wonder we're sort of feeling like that crazy energy is about to be upon us? So the part that was really disturbing to me last night wasn't that all of that was happening. What was disturbing to me last night was that my mind was so highly activated that I couldn't shut it off. And I was I was floored by that, because who's thinking those thoughts? Well, I'm thinking those thoughts. So who's in control of those thoughts? Well, I'm in control of those thoughts. So why was I having such a difficult time getting to the point where I could shut off those thoughts? Well, I'm going to show you right now. Hold on as I bring up an image that I want to share with everybody of what our human design week looks like. And why did that happen? Okay, sharing my screen. So I'm going to have two graphics to share with you. First, I'm going to share with you this one. We have now entered into week 2, starting today, which really started at sunset last night, through the 8th. And week 2 is about avoiding mental anxiety, staying open-minded, because what's activated are two of the 3 gates of the head center. So the very top center, the one that overlaps into the spiritual realm and partly in the physical body. The sun is at the gate 64, which is a gate of confusion. It is often a gate that when people have it in their chart, they receive downloads, right? They receive downloads in bulk and no instruction manual. Like, well, how am I supposed to do this, right? So the gate of confusion. And in the gate of confusion, sometimes we're trying to figure out the how. How am I going to do this? And that isn't the question, right? It isn't the question. If you try to ask that question, how, it's going to keep that mental anxiety rolling. It's going to keep that mental processing going and going and going. So in the wisest way, the antidote, if you will, to that mental anxiety, or excuse me, of that confusion, is to just let it resolve on its own, right? Don't try to figure it out. Don't try to put meaning behind it. Don't try to think anything else to imprint over. Just let the confusion sort of ride the wave, and eventually it will shift all on its own. But this is, 5 days now of that mental sort of confusion coming up. The gene keys show us it in the shadow is confusion. The gift of that is imagination, and the siddhi is illumination, right? Illumination, letting the light come on naturally. So it's the path from confusion to illumination via imagination. So it takes on a completely different role in the mind if you look at it through the gene keys than if you just think about it through human design, which is about confusion. But the earth is also at play this week in our heads, in our heads. And it is the earth at the gate of doubt that may be also creating some issues for us, as often the energy of doubt is really meant to be about using discernment in fielding through the information that's coming into your mind. But often we take doubt and we move it into suspicion, and we start to doubt ourselves, right? We doubt instead of doubting what someone else is saying, and or being more discerning about what we're hearing, we end up doubting our own self. And that was sort of an issue for me yesterday as well. My son, who is always such a great trigger for me when it comes to the mind, reached out by text and told me he needed to have a conversation with me. And that conversation he wanted to have was political. And he had me almost doubting my own thoughts. Like it was weird. It was just weird. And finally, I just had to step back. I had to use my powers of objectivity. I had to use my very much heart-centered energy not to get caught up in a huge fight with this kid. And it was so interesting to watch this happen. And I wonder how much of that played into mental anxiety for me last evening, as maybe I was, weeding through confusion, right? His side of the story is so much different than my side of the story. And who's right? Who's wrong? Right? Isn't everybody struggling with that right now? Who's right? Who's wrong? What's right? What's truth? What's not? What's falsehood? And, it's just interesting to watch this happen. And now it's being kind of ramped up a little bit with this week's human design energy. So if we look at the gene key, we see the shadow is doubt. And it is the pathway from doubt to truth via inquiry, right? Asking questions, looking for the deeper answers, right? Asking the right questions. And maybe it's not even asking the question of yourself, but looking for the answers through the different modes that we have available to us, or even better, going within and finding what your truth is, right? Your truth. Your truth cannot be shaken from you unless you allow it to. So that's a thing that I sort of learned last night. So 5 days of this week, all of that going on. And I want to show you now what that looks like in a human design chart. So I've got the chart of the just now, which I got from Jovian. Let me share my screen of that. So here is what our chart looks like right now. So we have all of the gates of the head activated, because we have the sun at gate 64, we have the earth at gate 63, and we have Saturn and Pluto at the gate 61. So one of the reasons why we always say that there is no one on the planet designed to make decisions from the head is because the gates in the head are confusion, wonderment, and doubt. So do you think that maybe there's an issue with everybody right now in the way using your mind and what the mind might be bringing to you? Not only that, but the gate 61 is connected to the gate 24. So it's also turned on the ajna. So all of us have what we think is certainty right now. Even though if you have an open ajna by birth, you don't have certainty. Right? So those of you who think you have certainty, maybe check your own human design chart and see. And then the question becomes is, what are you certain of? Right? Are you certain of thoughts that are coming in from this gate of psychosis? right? Thinking the same patterns, trying to go back to the good old days, making things, hitting your head up against the wall, expecting a new outcome, not getting it and wondering why. Let me try this again, hitting your head up against the wall, not happening. So why is that happening? Well, let me try it again, on and on and on, right? So here we have to change up the mind. Really, what we have to do, let go of the mind, let go of our dependence on the mind, and realize that the mind is just meant for thinking, calculating, contrasting, recall, memory, data. All of that is what the mind is really about. The top center, the head center, is about inspiration, ideas, and then letting those filter in, but not taking action on them from that place. No one is meant to take action from that place, right? So that's interesting. Now, as well, the ajna is connected via the 1156, which is a channel of seeking, looking for those answers, and then incorporating the things that you find into your human story. The gate 56 is activated by Venus. And now we have to check in and see, what is the story that I'm telling? What is the real story? What is the true story? And who's written the story, right? Who wrote the story, and is it a true story? Because otherwise, I may be repeating a story that's not even true. And then when you look at your own stories, like when you're talking about your own life, or you're talking about your own experiences, and this is so funny because I did this yesterday with a friend. We brought up the subject of an issue that happened that we were both involved in years ago. And I was really amazed at how neutral I felt. And at the time, it was probably the most emotionally impactful thing that had ever happened to me, negatively happened to me. And it was interesting. I was so detached from the emotion of that story that I realized that I'm not even telling it as a story anymore. It was more like, well, this happened, and that was it. Right? There wasn't that emotional thing. So looking at what story are you telling and how much emotional impact does it have? How much of the words that you're saying to yourself or to others, on repeat, are really keeping you caught up in some kind of loop, right? Somehow kind of wicked Groundhog's Day of, I keep repeating the story, and in this story, I'm always the victim, because we're not always telling the stories that are positive, right? We're always seemingly telling those negative stories. So here we get this opportunity to retell the story, right? The story of humanity here is about our triumphs, about how we rose to greet the challenges and we overcame the challenge, or we made peace with the challenge. So that's the correct use of the story, not the consuming, I'm the victim here and all these things always happen to me and this keeps happening and that keeps happening and this is what happened and this is why I'm the victim here. So we're changing our story. Then our throat center now is still connected to through the 1222, because the north node, or the trajectory of destiny at the moment, our collective destiny, moving us toward being able to speak from positive emotions, from love, from compassion, from charm, being easy with ourselves and easy with others, because Neptune's at this end and we have the North Node up at this end. And then at gate 36, right now happens to be the moon. That'll just pass through. But right now she's creating a bit of a havoc, right? The gate 36, the shadow in that gate is turmoil. Um, or turbulence. Turbulence is the gene key word. I think we call it turmoil in human design. So there's a bit of that roiling around through us as well. That will pass on as the day progresses. All right, so hopefully everybody understands that. I'm going to take a quick look back at our people here and see if there are any questions. A says, got my card readings there. Thank you. Any questions about the moon today? Any questions about human design, the human design gates? J-Lo, that is great to know. I just heard the Let It Go for the 61 and 24. Not sure if it is the same. Yeah, Let It Go. That makes me want to sing the song, right? From Frozen. Let it go, let it go. We could do that. Elisa, good morning to you. Christine Buckingham says she's answering. Sleepless in Santa Cruz last night too. Was up from 1:30 till 3. Tried to meditate and commune with any supportive downloads that wanted to drop in. Ursula, so 1 to 3, that's that time in the solar plexus, right? That where our angels or our guides want to speak to us, or where cosmic wisdom is flowing in. So that was likely the best thing for you, is to try to meditate, to try to, you know, open up and allow that info in. And even if you think you weren't successful in that, likely it was more successful than you thought, as who knows what was coming in for that, right? Adrienne says, happy Thursday, friends. Good to see you. And Emily, if you already have the gate of confusion activated in your chart, will it make a difference? Not necessarily, no. The gate of confusion for you is always there. So you're always subjected to these downloads that come fully formed and feeling that confusion, like, how do I do? What do I do with this? How am I supposed to figure this out? So I don't think it would be any different for you, but maybe it just crystallizes it a bit for you that that's what's happening, right? That's what's happening, that you get sometimes some pressure or mental anxiety from trying to figure out how you're supposed to do something, right? Figuring it out in that gate is creation of confusion. Instead, the opposite gate, the 47, down from that, is a gate of epiphany and revelation. So that happens when you're out and about in the world, and somebody else that you come into contact with might have the gate 47, or a planet transiting through the gate 47. So often confusion can be cleared up for people who have a hanging gate 64 just by going out into the world. You don't even have to really talk to anybody, just being out, you know, going to Starbucks or the park or wherever you can go now where it's safe, wearing your mask, that you can connect right up, and that can help let that confusion find a proper epiphany, let's say, or revelation. So there you have it. Pauline, new terms, human design, so new to me, right? So I think I saw you ask Ajna, Ajna. It is the name of the second center down of your human design. If it's colored in and you're broadcasting certainty, it'll be colored in green. Otherwise, it's white. And that means you're taking in thoughts and facts and figures from everyone else, believing you have certainty, but you don't. And then, so you're meant to be more open-minded. And Siddhi, in the gene keys, we see that there's a dimensional level, a holographic nature to all of the energies that we're experiencing. And in that hologram is a lower shadow level, right? The shadow would be where fear might reside. And that is just called shadow. And then when we're able to move up out of the fear, we get into the gift level, right? That's the second level. The third level, or the highest level of experience, when as much light as possible is moving through your DNA in that particular codon or gate or channel, is called the Siddhi, Siddhi. That is really just a Sanskrit word, I believe, that means the highest expression of, right? The highest level, the God level, if you will. So hopefully that helps you. Good questions, because those terms are new. It is totally a different world. Yes, you're welcome, Emily. J-Lo, so the 22 hanging in my design, 22 hanging in my design completes with the north node, which is my south node. It really just puts you at the halfway point of learning how to channel information in correctly from superconsciousness, and to be able to speak it with words or with feeling that is kind and compassionate, and to know when to not speak because your mood is such that you can't say it without anger or upset or conflict. So hopefully that helps, J-Lo. All right, so let's look at the bigger transits for the day, right? The main planets, the planetary energy of the day is really being driven by Mercury in a trine, a 120-degree angle, the relationship of ease and flow between the planets, Mercury trine Saturn. So Mercury rules our communication, Mercury rules the mind, Saturn is duty and responsibility, boundaries, right? Being responsible and being a good steward, being sustainable. And Mercury then trine Saturn puts us in a position of being able to have grounded thoughts and grounded communication. Like, we can think clearer for some reason, right? There's a flow here that helps us to organize our thoughts and organize what we want to say or what we want to write or how we want to present something. We are more focused, more clear, more oriented in, and able to concentrate even on a day like today where those two planets are coming together that way. And we are able then to work more in a step-by-step progression towards something, whether it's toward writing something, toward teaching something, toward building something, to cleaning something, you name it. Whatever it is that you're working toward today, you can do it with a very step-by-step progression, right? And not necessarily sweating the details of it, just going where Saturn seems to be pulling you, right? Where Mercury is pulling you to. So it's a great day for that. We are also, though, as I spoke earlier, in the very beginning stages as Venus is applying to a square with Mars. Now, let me talk about those words for a minute. So you know how planets are transiting through your chart. Well, let me see if I can actually show you the chart of the day. Maybe that will help explain this. Let me get that up first, and then I'll share my screen so everybody can understand what I'm talking about here. So here is the chart of the day. This I drew up this morning very early. And so it's the moon will have since moved, but we can look at Venus here. Venus is over here in the sign of Cancer at 27 degrees this morning. And then if we look at Mars, we see he's at 27 degrees, 51 minutes. She's at 27 degrees, 3 minutes. And she's moving closer and closer to that 27 degree, 51 minutes. So as she's moving closer, that is called applying, right? She is applying to the square with Mars, meaning she's moving toward coming into that exact square. Then she will hit the exact square here sometime tomorrow morning, very early. And then later that moves off. She begins to keep moving forward as Mars will begin to move backwards. And he's only going to move to the 28th degree. So he's already close to stopping where he is. And then it will be a separating transit. So they will be moving apart from one another. So you could think of it as waxing and maybe the full moon or the new moon exact, right? And then waning, right? So waxing and waning. And that means that we are often experiencing these energies before they're exact, while they're exact. And in some ways, we're also, depending on what the actual transit is or relationship is, we're even experiencing it after, right? And in particular, when you look at your own chart and you see where 27 Cancer is, right? What's there in your chart and what's at 27 of Aries. And you can see, oh, that's sitting right on top of my XYZ planet. And that means there's maybe some trouble brewing. As you can see, Mars is really very close to the Black Moon Lilith and to Eris. Eris and Black Moon are in a conjunction right now. So we have, this discord. We have the possibility of conflict. We have confrontations of all kinds possible during this period of time because of the nature of a square, right? A square brings up stumbling blocks. It brings up issues, things that we haven't gotten to a peaceful resolution yet. And it is, that kind of energy that causes us to go out and try to solve problems or to seek solutions to what's happening within us, trying to find a peaceful place or trying to find a peaceful solution. So that's why when we're looking at transits, some people may feel them earlier than others. Like I often feel things before they actually happen. And that's partly because I'm connected somehow. I'm thinking about these things all the time, but also it happens with other people when their chart is set up that a planet is going to connect to a transiting planet. I mean, a transiting planet is going to connect to a personal planet that they have in their own chart. Gosh, I hope that makes sense. So the Venus square Mars is building up today. So we may be feeling some tension in our relationships, in our finances, in all things to do with Venus. So Venus rules finances, relationships, love, our values, and Mars rules our aggression or our assertiveness, our warrior nature, and our ability to take action and move forward. Are we doing that with patience or are we doing that with impulsivity or impatience, right? So some of that we may feel, or other people may be a little temperamental, overly sensitive today. So we want to watch how we say what we say, right? The words are one thing, but also, are we cold when we say what we need to say? Are we angry or upset, or can we say what we need to say with love? That's kind of the big thing here. Disagreements are also possible as Venus and Mars square up. Now, I think there's also another piece of this energy that we have to really look at, and that is the pure creative energy of this particular square. It may be that maybe you've been struggling with an idea and how to get it off the ground, and this may provide the impetus, right, to go out and seek the answer, the solution. So creativity may be heightened during this time as well, and that may be that you find something that really solves the problem for you that you wouldn't have seen if you didn't have that little bit of tension behind the scenes that's pushing you outward to find, or inward to find, the solution. So it's not all bad. It's not all like negative tension, but it can feed into a lot of the other confrontational tensions, especially for people who are not being particularly conscious or consciously aware. And we can all have moments of unconsciousness. So it can happen to you, even though you think you're conscious. Periodically, I nod off and go and react to things when I know better. So we're all still in the process of learning all of this together. So, okay. Okay, let's go on to the Pleiadian-Earth energy of the day so that I have some time to get to readings. The Pleiadian-Earth energy today is 9 exploring. In the Mayan calendar, that was the symbol Ben. Ben was the representation of a reed. And really what that energy was all about was about exploring new ideas, new territory, and being willing to go with the flow, right? A reed would survive in the wind, perhaps by being a little bit flexible, right? And just being able to yield and be that flexible, have that flexible nature. So Ben is sort of an energy, or exploring energy, that says, go out and look for new things. Don't break because you're always trying to do the same thing the same way. Try something new. Explore your inner connection to the greater cosmos, right? That's another thing to explore. Not so much your physicalness with your inner world, but your inner world to the greater cosmos, to God or source, or however you want to term that. What is that? That connection is very powerful. And in meditation or prayer, we often feel that connection. Some people feel that connection all the time, that connection to the higher perspective, the higher connection to whatever you want to call that, God, source, goddess, any words you want to use. See things with fresh ideas, with fresh eyes, or fresh thoughts. Instead of thinking about things in the same old way, turn them upside down a bit, see them with new eyes. Move beyond opinions. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Big lesson here in this particular place, because everything that you're hearing right now are all opinions until they can be proven as fact, right? It's also about rigid attitudes, not to get into that rigidness. And rigid attitudes keep you from looking beyond and into the unknown. And maybe the real truth, the real jewel lies in the unknown, but you'll never know that because you're too stuck where you are. So moving beyond that old energy, that's what the earth is bringing to us today. Now, the universal energy of the day, the 9 energy, is about harmony. And harmony here comes when we are heart-centered and we're seeking the highest and the best for all, right? When we're seeking win-win. Remember yesterday when we had, what was it, Pluto and Venus, was it? No, Venus was opposing Saturn yesterday. It was the moon in a sextile to Pluto. And it was about looking for win-win, right? Kind of a Libra sort of energy, even though it wasn't in Libra, but looking how can we create a pathway where we're down the middle, right? Not on the right, not on the left, but in the middle, right? You find those answers, you got it, right? You got it made. So that is about today's energy, seeking harmony by looking at all of the different experiences of the previous 8 days and how do they all come together to support the energy of the umbrella, which was one moving. How are we moving forward? Are we moving forward fearlessly? Are we moving forward with all of our old stuff still intact that we haven't let go of, the baggage? Or have we let go? And are we ready to move on, clean and clear and refreshed, purified, detoxified, blah, blah, blah? Good questions, right? Okay. Now, Asa, card readings. So I wrote down, who did I write down first? Amanda. Okay, so I've got Amanda, Pauline, and Camilla. And Amanda wants the galactic one, Pauline, angel, or dog. Okay, so funny thing, I have the galactic heritage cards up on top here. So almost as if the universe was preparing me already for what I needed first this morning. And interesting, underneath that was the angel guide deck. So that would be for Pauline, perhaps, because it looks like she wants an angel or a dog. And let's do a galactic card for, I need to get my coffee out of the way before I dump it. Let's do a galactic card for Amanda. So Amanda, this will be for you. This is a huge deck, so bear with me here for a moment. It's hard to get all those cards in my hand. I mean, look how thick this deck is. It's a lot of cards. And this is for Amanda. And Amanda gets Unfinished Business. It's card number 59, and it's from the system Sirius in the present. So that's what the card is, number 59, Unfinished Business. So now these cards are there's a little bit longer story in them. So pay attention. All right, so Amanda, the ancient Syrians believed that they left some things unfinished. Mostly, this has to do with the evolution of the human race. Many of these ancient beings have incarnated as humans now in order to complete the tasks they feel were left undone. Other serious beings are helping from the unseen realms. If you feel that you have unfinished business in your life or a nagging feeling that you are supposed to do something, pay attention to what that is teaching you about self-acceptance. The lesson is that you are complete in every moment. If you were supposed to do something, then it would be done. Commentary. This card refers to a specific era of the Syrian civilization when they were working with the human species for the purposes of genetic enhancement and spiritual evolution. Galactic civilizations often have to think long-term, and many of their projects took millennia to complete or are still being completed now in this time of transformation. Many humans on Earth were incarnated as these serious beings back in that ancient time, and they still carry this feeling of having unfinished business, a nagging feeling that there's just something that needs completion. If this card came up in your reading, it may be referring to unfinished business from the ancient serious projects, or it might be a feeling of unfinished business from other lives or even this lifetime. Look to the surrounding cards for clues, and when it says that, it means to me, because of the way that we do this, to listen to what other people's readings are and see if it helps to fill in the gaps for you. But also really examine your life honestly. Is there something in this life that needs completion? If so, free up your energy by working toward that completion. If the sense of unfinished business is more subtle, go deep within for the answers. No matter what happens, know that when you follow the flow of life and meet all challenges with integrity instead of running from them, any unfinished business that is carried has a tendency to resolve it in easily. It is only when there is resistance that we postpone the inevitable. Keep that in mind as you navigate this human life. That's a lot. I think that's a good one for all of us, actually. All right, so that was for you, Amanda. Pauline, I'm going to pull you an angel card because that's a newer deck, and I want to see how that works. And why don't I bring the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Well, I did. We'll pull you 2 cards. All right, so this is for you, Pauline. This is going to be the angel card first, and this is from the Kyle Gray deck that somebody sent to me. Thank you. Much love. The Angel Guide Oracle. And so this will be your card. Oh, Pauline, one just jumped out for you. Angelic Protection. Here's what the card looks like. Angelic Protection. And let's see what that means before I get the other. There's no number on that, so it's alphabetical here. So here's your message, Pauline. First of 2. Your message is: a brilliant light of protection is around you at this time. Angels are guiding and guarding you and want you to know that you are safe. Whether you're feeling worried about physical, emotional, or spiritual harm or not, this card is confirming that you have spiritual protection. Your angel guide is supporting you and leading you toward positive experiences and outcomes. If you have decisions to make or opportunities to take and you are unsure what to do, know that this card is bringing you comfort and support. The angels who are with you only need a prayer from you in order to swoop in and guide you. I love that picture of an angel swooping in to help you. Extended message here. You are protected. The worst is now behind you, and you are ready to move beyond the challenges that you have been facing. The past has gone, and your angel guide is encouraging you to let it go. If traumatic or painful memories have revisited you recently, know that they are opportunities to recognize how far you have come and acknowledge how much healing has taken place in your life. When you have reflected on these shifts, leave the past behind and move forward. The present is only a gift if you are able to receive it. If you are facing the unknown at this time, know that your angel guide will show you the best next steps, and you will be surrounded by a spiritual force field that will protect you on all levels as you move forward. Wow. So, angelic protection. And because you mentioned that or dog, and I feel it's probably a good time to bring in the dogs. And I love this deck, Leslie. Just spectacular, right? That we can, whoa, we have, okay, this is funny. The mutt came up, and the mutt is about health. That's the name of the card, mutt and health. All right, so let's, right? Mutts are usually the best dogs, right? They're, I mean, all dogs are great, don't get me wrong, but mutt. And this card says, this is a time of renewed health. If you have had health issues in the past, pulling this card assures you that your health is improving and moving in a positive direction. It is a time to be grateful for the good things in your life and realize that health is not just physical, but also emotional. Our physical bodies are messengers for what we are feeling inside. Anger, resentment, jealousy, all emotions settle somewhere in our bodies and can give us information to help resolve our issues. Be open to looking at your health as more than just physical. See whatever you are going through as a blessing and be open to looking at your feelings. Mutt's advice: saying daily affirmations will aid you in manifesting the health you desire. Nice. Mutt. So mutt and angelic protection, health and angelic protection. Okay. So that is as far as I got with the list. Let me see. I know I saw a message pop up here. Asa, more card readings. Oh no, I still had Camilla. Sorry, Camilla, card, your pick. Camilla. I'm tapping into angels for you. And let's see what that means for you. So Camilla, do the work. Do the work. The angel says, do the work. Beautiful card. Okay, do the work. So that says, I mean, that seems almost like we get that one, right? Do the work. And it says, if you are wondering whether to move forward or not, this card is a message from your angels to continue on. You might feel that your current situation requires more time and energy than you are able to give, and there's a good chance that you are feeling disheartened or even drained. It's important to know that everything involved in this situation is pivotal to your growth, expansion, and spiritual connections. This card invites you to switch on the light you have within. It's time to be a star, to rise up, to get behind the wheel and drive the journey of your life. I love that imagery. Yes, energy is going to be needed to hustle and push, but every single effort you make will pay off. Right now, you are sending out a signal, and that will create a wave that can lay the foundation for the rest of your life. The extended message says being spiritual isn't always easy. It comes with a price, and often that price is time and effort. That is why angels call it light work, because we have to work our light. This isn't spiritual easy. This isn't spiritual vacation. This is spiritual work, and that does mean we have to work Action, effort, surrender, and trust are needed for things to come together. But when this card appears, you have an important opportunity to figure out the balance between effort and effortlessness and understand when both of these energies need to move through your being. If you want to abandon a project or walk away from a situation, this card is letting you know that you are needed more than ever. This isn't the time to run away. This is the time to turn up. When you show up ready and willing to do the work, you will move up too. That's a great reminder, right? But of course, do it according to your type and your strategy. Always my little disclaimer there. All right, Camilla, that was for you. Now, who was next here? Asa, more card readings. I see. I know I saw other card readings. I thought Ursula had requested one, and Debbie, was it Debbie Johnson? I'm not sure, but Angela K. Right now, I'm going to do a galactic for you. And then hopefully I can go back in and I can see. Maybe there was a message behind that one. No. All right. So Asa, can you check for me and see who would be after Angela? And you may have to go back to earlier chat to see because people started in right away. And okay, Angela Mather Keel, graduation, Earth, future. Wow, graduation, 76, which is a 13, which is a 4. So having done the work, you graduate. I like that. So 76, I don't think we've had this card before either. All right, so card 76. Earth's history has been fraught with struggles, hatred, and fear. The underlying purpose of this was to serve as training for species evolution. It hasn't been easy. From the point of view of the future, humanity has succeeded and experienced a graduation as a species. That is hard to see now, but please trust that everything on Earth is happening for a reason. You and many others are connected to humans from the future who are gently guiding the planet toward this graduation. As you connect with your higher self and do your spiritual work, you too help to uplift humanity. This card refers to the future time stream of Earth in which the planet makes its transition from a planet of polarity and conflict to one of unity and integration. This powerful energy of integration acts like a magnet, pulling you forward in your spiritual journey. If this card comes up in your reading, it could mean that energy or beings from Earth's future are working with or through you to facilitate graduation on a planetary level. This card is also most likely acknowledging that you have completed a challenging cycle in your life and are having a graduation of sorts. It is time to celebrate. If you feel the cycle of learning hasn't finished yet and the graduation is coming in the future, let the energy of this card give you the strength to keep going. There may be tests, final exams, so to speak, that will come up, but you are prepared for them. Every civilization that awakens experiences a graduation, and Earth is no different. Despite what chaos you may see on Earth at this time, know that it is leading toward a shift. Let yourself trust in this enlightened time that is coming in the future for Earth, and know that what you do to awaken yourself in this time now helps to ensure this future for planet Earth. Continue your personal work and encourage those you meet to do so as well. That's a great card. Great card. Graduation, Earth of the future. So, after Angela, who was after Angela? Okay, so I'm going to go to, because I'm thinking maybe you can't go backwards in time and see. Let's see. All right, you guys might have already done this. Hi, Sly. Good to see you out there. And I apologize. I don't know what happened in the stream here. Asa, please add me to the list. Ursula wants a galactic card reading. You're getting that right now. Well, maybe I find out what everybody else needs here. Jennifer Peachy would also like a galactic card. So I got those two, Ursula and Jennifer Peachy. So Ursula, this one is for you. The Galactic Heritage. Alone time, Vega in the present. So here is your card, Ursula. Let me get back to my Zoom screen so I can see. So Vega, alone time, card number 7, it's 25, which is a 7. So let's see what that one means. 25. And Vega. Ancient Vegans were solitary beings. They often spent large amounts of time alone in quiet contemplation as a way to remain centered, so that they had enough energy to be of service to their community. In current times, most people don't create the space to have this alone time. So that is so very vital to their well-being. Take a look at your need for this essential quiet time alone. Give it to yourself, not only for rest or activities that recharge you, but to look deep within yourself and work on your inner challenges. This is a fundamental need of all humans. This need can no longer be ignored. Reality on Earth today can be very chaotic, filled with multiple distractions from family, home, and work. These distractions can also be played out through our emotions, whereby our emotional states keep us distracted from our true internal essence. This is why stilling practices like meditation and yoga serve very important functions. They help us still our minds so that we can see our true connection to the universe and the true nature of our consciousness. Every human needs time alone, not to distract ourselves with games or television, but to go deep within and cultivate an intimate relationship with our true selves. The Vegans were very solitary beings who recognized this essential need. If this card comes up in your reading, you cannot ignore this inner need any longer. Settle your mind and reestablish connection with your inner self. This is really not negotiable. Without this commitment, spiritual evolution becomes extremely difficult. This is a key to the next stage of human evolution. If you already spend large amounts of time alone doing spiritual practices, this card may also be giving you the message that this alone time must be balanced with time out in the physical world with other humans as well. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so Jennifer Peachy also wanted a Galactic Heritage card. So Jennifer, this one is for you. Finding the time. I've got maybe 10 more minutes I can spend here. Self-observance. And it is from the Lyrans, the future, right? Observance. Also a 13. That's funny, which is also a 4. And I'm also mindful that I woke up at 444, and 4 is the number of work and service. It's very Virgo sort of feeling. So self-observance, Lyra in the future. And let me get a drink of water here. And number 67. So Lyra, the light went out on me. After much struggle as a species, the Lyrans eventually healed themselves by honestly and objectively observing themselves. At first, this can be difficult as a task, but in the end, it leads to powerful transformation as long as it is done without judgment. That's important. The power of self-observation is essential for any person or species who seeks transformation. Begin this process now. Just observe. See your habits and patterns without the need to fix anything. It is an alchemical process that produces spiritual evolution on a profound level. The love and wisdom of the Lyran forefathers can guide you. Just ask for their help. This Lyran time stream represents the Lyran culture after they healed their karma and the challenges of the past when they were a young species. When a culture enters this phase of species maturity, it is like a renaissance. Consciousness begins to shift, and they begin entering the galactic community from a place of respect and with the vision of the unified whole of creation rather than individual planets or species. This card is very important because Earth has just begun making its first tiny steps towards species maturity, like their Lyran forefathers. One of the most essential aspects of expressing this maturity is the ability to see one's self-growth lessons, or to see one's self clearly, to see the negative as well as the positive and embrace it all as a valuable growth lesson. At this time in Earth's development, the ability of self-observance is crucial for both the human species as a whole and for individuals. Without this honest self-evaluation, neither a species nor a person can fully transform. So that was for you, Jennifer. And that was self Self-observance, right? Self-observance, Lyra. All right, let me check in here with my message I was getting from Asa. I'm thinking, Emily is, see, I'm not seeing a list above that. I'm so sorry. I don't know why it's not coming through. So your message, Asa, says, look at list above this message, Puffing Pixie, Emily, next. But I don't have a message above that one or below it even. So there's something going on weird. But Emily, this card is for you. But what did she say she wanted? Puffing Pixie. All right. Oh, hold on. I think I just found it, Asa. Oh my God. Okay. Andy Girl, card of your choice, Puffing Pixie Galactic. All right. So Puffing Pixie, you were first in that list. I read it up backwards. So, oh, let's see here. So Emily, this is a galactic card for you. And then next will be Andy Girl. And then, ooh, that one wants to come out. That just nearly flew out. Ah, how funny. This is Alone Time, the vegan present. All right, so Emily, Alone Time. This, I think, was the same card that Ursula had. And I will reread it because apparently we have to pay more attention to this. And it said, ancient vegans were solitary beings. They often spent large amount of times alone in quiet contemplation as a way to remain centered so that they had enough energy to be of service to their community. In current times, most people don't create the space to have this alone time that is so very vital to their well-being. Take a look at your need for this essential quiet time alone. Give it to yourself, not only for rest or activities that recharge you, but to look deep within yourself and work on your inner challenges. This is a fundamental need of all humans. This need can no longer be ignored. Are we getting a message here? Reality on Earth today can be very chaotic, filled with multiple distractions from family, home, and work. These distractions can also be played out through our emotions, whereby our emotional states keep us distracted from our true internal essence. This is why stilling practices like meditation and yoga serve very important functions. They help us still our minds so we can see our true connection to the universe and the true nature of our consciousness. Every human needs time alone, not to distract ourselves with games or television, but to go deep within and cultivate an intimate relationship with our true selves. The Vegans were very solitary beings who recognized this essential need. If this card comes up in your reading, you cannot ignore this inner need any longer. Settle your mind and reestablish connection with your inner self. This is really not negotiable. Without this commitment, the spiritual evolution becomes extremely difficult. This is a key to the next stage of human evolution. If you already spend large amounts of time alone doing spiritual practices, this card may also be giving you the message that time alone must be balanced with time out in the physical world with other humans as well. Well, interesting that we have this double sort of message going on here with that. So that was for Emily. Andy wants, Andy Girl, a card of your choice. I think I'm going to give you a dog card. I think the dogs want to come out again. So let's do a dog. Dachshund relationship. Isn't he cute? That's such an adorable dog. So the dachshund represents relationship. All right, so let's take a look and see what that card means, or the message from the card. And it says, it's important for you to take care of yourself right now in order to have the energy your relationships require. Family support is also needed to get through those challenges that have you feeling oppressed. It may be time to take a fearless look at yourself instead of blaming the other person when relationships and partnerships are rocky. If your partner touches a nerve, there's usually some truth in what the other is saying. Pay attention to the message, regardless of the messenger. You need to combine forces with your partner to grow and flourish in this relationship. Don't be afraid to seek help if you need it and dig down deep. Dachshund's advice: my husband and I have never considered divorce, murder sometimes, but never divorce. That was from Joyce Brothers. Well, I would suggest that we don't consider murder at all, and not consider divorce, but consider the thought that it's meant for you to work these things out, because what you're seeing in the mirror of your relationships tells you a little bit about what is going on within you and helps you discern what it is that you need and not necessarily blaming it on the other person. All right. So that was awesome. Andy girl. Deborah Johnson would like a WOTO. Wisdom of the Oracle. And Deborah Johnson. Okay. Two. You have a twofer message, Deborah Johnson. Never Ending Story, card number 37. So, and they're both upright, by the way. So Never Ending Story was first, and then A Leg Up is second, right? So we have 37, which is a 1, because it's a 10. And then the other one is 34, which is a 7. So highly spiritual, but also personal. And here's the book. So number 37. Okay, Never Ending Story. The essential meaning of the card: self-criticism, the wounded ego, and unnecessary dramas. Here's the oracle's message for you, Deborah. There is a story woven through the imperfect fabric of life that tells of hurt and loss, rejection and humiliation, self-loathing and arrogance, and all manner of suffering born of unnecessary dramas. It is the old story whose refrain is that you cannot do this, must not go there, should not say that, lest your world come crumbling down. Today, know that none of this is actually true. The sky is not falling. The voice you hear is just a small, scared, conditioned part of you that got stuck in a lie, wants to protect you, and needs to be seen as a victim. Love that lost piece of you. Fear is all it knows. Distorted guidance is preventing you from being true to yourself. You are not your story, and the narrator is simply the voice of your fearful part, small and vulnerable and easily soothed. I think that's a good one because of the 1156 in our human design that's suddenly defined. What story are you telling? And then A Leg Up says, receiving help, delegating authority, and interdependence. The oracle's message says you've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. I like that card. All right, Deborah, that was for you. And next, I think, was Rueda wants an angel card. Angels for you, Rueda. And let's put those over there. So Rueda, this is for you. And then J-Lo wants a dragon. And Ursula and Jennifer, I did. All right, so Rueda. Just waiting for that card to jump out here or give me a sign, a signal. Ah, there it is. And the card for you is Raise Your Vibration. That's a beautiful card. Raise your vibration. Look at that. Oh, that orange and red. Kind of hot energy. Raising your vibration. Okay, let's see what that one means. It's time to move up a level. It's time to fly high. You may have experienced some setbacks or felt low recently, but that is behind you now, and you have the opportunity to light up like never before. Everything in the entire universe is comprised of energy, and that energy vibrates, drawing toward it similar energy. So raising your vibration means aligning yourself with situations, people, places, and choices that you know will lift you up, support you, and help you to grow. When this card appears, you have overcome the darkness and are moving into a time of opportunity. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, you can be reborn. Know that angels are acknowledging your commitment to growth, and you are filled with inspiration now, attracting only the good. Extended message. There's a sense of achievement around you at this time. You may be receiving documentation, certification, or a reward of some description to acknowledge your growth or experience. This is a time to cherish, a time to enjoy the rewards of your commitment to living with integrity and doing good. You have overcome many challenges and risen above adversity, judgment, and possibly even abuse. You are ascending spiritually and personally at this time, and the universe is supporting you. This is the pathway of light, the pathway of your soul's evolution, ascension. Love it. Okay. All right, guys. I am almost done here. I see that, let's see, who was next here is Deborah Tibbetts, J-Lo. You two are going to be the last two. I'm sorry. I'm done. I have things I've got to do, and I wish I could stay here all day and do this. Debbie Tibbetts, you didn't say which card. Tibbetts Tumiel, which one would you like? Angel. All right, so Debbie Tibbetts Tumiel, this is for you. Angel card. And J-Lo, you said dragon, so I'll get the dragons out. I'll unleash the dragons. Oh, this is a pretty card. Debbie, Mother, Father, God. Oh, Lord, that's beautiful. Look at this. Mother, Father, God. All that color. My room is kind of awash with sunlight right now, so it's hard to really see the color here, but there's a lot of beautiful color there. All right, Debbie, let's see what this means for you. Mother, Father, God. Your message. You are connected to the power of creation at this time. Your spiritual parent is enveloping you in their incredible love and filling you with divine energy and inspiration to help you move forward. This card is a message directly from the heart of God. It is telling you that you are significant and precious. You are loved beyond measure, and the creator power is proud of you. You are being encouraged to have faith and know that anything is possible for you. No matter what you may be going through, you are always connected to the source of creation. Your angel guide is encouraging you to remember this now. This card is one of healing and wholeness. Whatever stories you may have heard about God being judgmental must be washed away. Divine energy could never hold a grudge against you, for you are an extension of its love. The power and presence of the Creator are not only with you, but within you. If you have ever felt that you aren't good enough, or that you are being judged, or that you haven't been the best you can be, know that you are forgiven. Angels are with you today to help create a healing wave between you and your divine parent. This card also brings the possibility of parental healing. If you would like to clear up difficult energies between you and your parents or ancestry, know that angels are ready to help. They are guiding you to see the world through the eyes of Mother, Father, God, and to remember that love can heal everything. Whew. That is powerful. Mother, Father, God. All right. And J-Lo, dragons. There'll be dragons here. Let's see what they have to say today. And I know there are others of you that wanted readings. We just can't do everybody. That's usually how it happens. But let's see. Fire dragon, J-Lo, burns up the lower energies around you. You are safe and protected. Be determined and inspired. Clear your soul pathway. Fire dragon. That's a gorgeous dragon too. Seems very much like that last angelic card that we got for, forgot who it was. And what did I do with my book? Oh, put it back in here. So we have fire dragon, And let's see what level dragon or what dimension that dragon is. Fire dragon is a 4th dimensional dragon. And let's see what it says. Burns up the lower energies around you, right? 4th dimensional fire dragons radiate a bright orange fiery light. They are powerful beings who give us power, thrust, and determination when we work with them. They are the master clearance experts and will direct their blazing flames at anything we ask them to, transmuting lower vibrations that no longer serve us. They will fly in front of us when we travel, often burning up challenges before we reach them. They are also extremely protective of their companions and those who work with them. They will light up our friends and roar at those who undermine us. Here's your guidance, JLo. If you have received this card, it is time to invite the fire dragons to burn up any circumstances in your life that are not serving you. Call on them to delve deep into your childhood or past lives to release you from your past so that your future can shine. They have the ability and power to travel along the timeline of your soul journey, cleaning, clearing, healing, and transmuting as they do so. They are happy to do this while you sleep if you ask them. Ask them to clear and light up the path in front of you each day. Then relax and trust that all is as it should be. These orange dragons have huge open hearts and love to keep you safe by creating a fiery wall of protection around you or your home and family. So remember to ask them to do so. Call on them to light you up in their flames and breathe inspiration into you. You may be amazed at the positive and courageous way you start to deal with people and situations. Woo, that's a good one too. Fire dragon. All right, let me see how many more were there. Must I leave? Let's see, 2 more. It's funny how much you use your thumb when you're scrolling. Courtney Menard, going to Mount Rushmore, your choice. Misinformed card. Okay, Courtney, going to Mount Rushmore, my choice. Going to Mount Rushmore. I'm going to give you a dragon, I think. A dragon to travel with. So let's do that, okay, Courtney? And then misinformed, we'll do yours. I'm not sure what we'll do for you. Black dragon from Saturn brings you wisdom through spiritual discipline. Concentrate, focus on your ultimate vision. Congratulate yourself, you have passed a test. So black dragon from Saturn. Wouldn't have thought of dragons on Saturn, but I don't know what to say about that. Let's just see what it has to say, because I don't think we've ever drawn this card. So black dragon from Saturn is page 74. Maybe we have. All right, here we go. The 5th dimensional black dragons work directly with the masters of Kishi, the ascended aspect of Saturn. They help us to organize and apply ourselves to tasks, however small or large they may be. Black indicates a feminine energy of rest, peace, and calm, which enables the wisdom to come forward. It could not do so if there was too much masculine thrust. These dragons work with Archangel Gabriel, who radiates pure white light. He is in overall charge of the base center where we hold 5th dimensional spiritual discipline. This is what enables all the 5th dimensional chakras to anchor. Archangel Gabriel's energy balances that of the black dragons of Saturn. These dragons also carry the pure violet flame of transmutation, which is held in Saturn, and use it to dissolve thoughts that are not focused on the ultimate vision. Here's your guidance. A black dragon from Saturn has appeared to you now, as it is time for you to address tasks with discipline and focus. Spiritual discipline is vital to ground the higher energies on your pathway. The black dragon will give you focus, concentration, determination, awareness, and the ability to plan and stick to a routine where necessary. Receiving this card is a true blessing, as it indicates that your feet are firmly planted on your ascension path and you do everything for the highest good of all. This dragon also brings you congratulations from the angelic world, as you have passed a test you have been undergoing. It is time to celebrate your success and step forward with discipline as well as with joy and bliss. Don't forget the joy and the bliss. Too much Saturn is not as much good. Misinformed would like a Woto or an angel. I think Woto for you misinformed. And let's do that. I love Woto, Wisdom of the Oracle. This is a card deck by Colette Baron Reed. And feeling that dizzy feeling. That's something powerful coming up here. Yin, upside down. Yin upside down. So yin, energy, card number 2, but it was in protection. So let's see what that says for you misinformed. 2. The essential meaning of the card is the feminine principle of receptivity, letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues, the art of conscious allowing. And here's your message. It says, do you have trouble receiving? You stop the flow of abundance when you continually insist upon being the giver. You can't always lead, always give, always teach. You must be the student, the open vessel, and the one who receives the gift, gesture, or offer in equal measure. Open up and let love, life, abundance, and spirit fill you without demand or expectation. Just receive the bounty that is yours. Good message for everybody. Yin, being open to receiving, not just being the giver, but open to receiving as well. All right, that was for you. All right, guys, that is enough for me. I hope you all have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow. I can't believe tomorrow's Friday, the beginning of a 3-day weekend for those of us here in the USA. I'm not sure if everybody celebrates Labor Day, but that is what we'll be doing this weekend. So take care, and I will see you tomorrow.